DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Good evening and welcome to the show tonight. I'm John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. Most of you know who I am. Yay, thank you for joining me tonight. Hey, this was going to be the Jeremy Breck spot tonight. Jeremy is, unfortunately, he and I, we were off base and didn't communicate properly, and he ended up in Chicago. He's doing some cool things with an install there, so that's my bad. I should have been paying a little more attention. So we had talked a long time ago, and that's what happens when you're working on some different things. So what I'm doing tonight is I'm doing the 10 o'clock show, and you're going to have to hang with me for just a second because I am going to go and I've got to share this link with my on my Facebook page and say, hey, I'm live. Would it be something like that? And then we're going to talk tonight about YouTube. There's been some changes with YouTube. Live now. Boom, boom, bing, boom, boom. There's been some changes with YouTube here in the last several months, and there's some additional changes that are coming up, and that's what we're really going to dig into tonight with tonight's show. So if you utilize YouTube, this is going to be of interest to you. If you don't utilize YouTube, there's still going to be some things that are of interest to you because I'm going to be putting some things in that you could utilize for your business. And if you don't know what YouTube is, get off. No, you can't be that bad. Okay. Howie, day and night, thank you guys for being with tonight. So I've really stepped up the production for tonight's show. I was going to be putting some things together and do a slideshow, but it's like, I want to try something different tonight. I want to try just having the scrolling text and give you so you guys can have the visual to see what words and the topics and such, and I'm just going to kind of work through it that way. I got to get my chat set up, so if you guys have any questions or any thoughts as it comes to this, I think that works now because I think the DJ trivia shows up right below it, and we are good to go. Okay, so we want to talk about YouTube today. YouTube, as most of you know, is one of the biggest search engines in the world right now. Basically, it's the second behind Google. Google itself is like number one. YouTube search is like the second most used search out there. People go there. We all do it. We go to YouTube. We type in, how do I, unplug my toilet? And we get that, and we get all these videos. And there's some guy in there, who's going down and kissing a toilet and give it mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Those are there. YouTube. Yay, great. A lot of information. So in order to be successful on YouTube with what we're trying to do, now in a case for most of us, we're mobile entertainers, wedding entertainers, what have you, and you'll see a lot of people utilizing YouTube to show gig logs. How many times have you heard people complain, they blocked my video and because I was showing everyone having fun doing the cha-cha slide. YouTube has copyright things, and this is something that's been there and will be there forever. It doesn't matter if you bought your music legally from Amazon or Apple or from Promo Only or from Top Hits USA. It doesn't matter. If the song is in your video and their little bots catch it, well, you're going to get busted for it, and you may, if it's bad enough, you may get actually a strike on your account. Most likely not. Most of the time, you're just going to get a notification, that there's a copyright infringement on your account, and that the music will either be, the ads will go to this other person, or it will be something that will be blocked in some areas and such. And if it's enough or it's the label, it'll be blocked in the United States too. So most of the time with YouTube, we use as DJs, we are using it for trying to use it to promote what we do. And there's a lot of cool things. Gig logs is one of them. Educational content's another. There's a lot of aspects of it. I'm not going to dig into that too terribly much from this point forward. I just wanted to kind of set the stage for those of you who are utilizing it or haven't used it and you're like, how could I use it? Well, there are ways to do it. But in order to be successful with your videos on YouTube, the most important thing to having a successful video on YouTube is really the quality of the content. The content today, people are going to put more priority on getting quality of the content. Specifically, what am I going to get out of watching this video, investing my time into this video? And this is something we at the Disc Jockey News and DJNTV haven't been doing all that well in some of this, because I've been doing a lot of studying here in the last 3 to 4 weeks again, because it's an evolving, changing world. Some of these things I'm going to be talking about are things that you're going to be starting to see us implement into the channels as we go forward here in the next few months. But the content is king. What am I going to get out of watching it? Why should I care? These are the types of questions you really need to be answering in the content what you have and in the different areas in which we're going to talk about. But quality of the content. First off, it's got to be a good story. The story is number one. People like a good story. That's why story books and kids books and stories around a campfire, hey daddy, tell us another story. That's why it's such a big thing in our lives. In your videos, even if it's a gig log, it can be there's a story, and you can tell that story about the incredible moment that the bride, this incredible moment that the bride just beamed like a sun. What, I don't know. This is really bad and a bit lame example. There's a story in every event we do. Sometimes it's something you can know in advance and be able to prepare for. Sometimes the story happens and then you have to, you would capture it and then tell the story from afterwards. But there's a story everywhere in what you do. You've got to tell the story. You can't just show the video and say, yep, there's my 14 speakers and my 8 lights. Well, what's the story? Well, the story is I'm kind of a lame butt, if you know what I'm saying. There's a story. If you can figure out what the story is and tell that with your content, that's going to be a strong video. Important after a good quality story is having good audio. That might mean using a professional mic if you're doing things in a studio. It might mean having a lapel microphone. It might be having a handheld microphone. We haven't always gotten the greatest audio at shows, and this past weekend, my very expensive wireless system died on me. So you can't always get great audio, but that's the second. Good story with good audio, because if your audio sounds garbled or crappy, people are going to be gone. They just will not handle it. Video in this day and age, yes, good video is important. It isn't as important as audio. People will if there's a good story and the audio is good and the video's, maybe a little jumpy, which jumpy is probably the worst. But if it's grainy, we'll forgive grainy. If it's dark, we'll forgive that. Jumpy is getting a little bit toward the point where you start to pull the plug on it. And of course, if it's too dark or if that might be. But video is important, but cell phone video is way, way accepted in this day and age. And of course, cell phones do a great job. Then the last part of it, probably the least important of this, is really getting into fancy production and editing. While it's good to be keeping the eyes of the person, if you're doing educational content and you're doing it on a regular basis, the production obviously needs to be more important in that. But if you're doing a gig log and you're telling the story of a bride and how she saw her husband for the first time and how they both felt, and that was the main part of your story, you can probably get away with not having the level of production you would on some other videos. And the story is so strong that people wouldn't remember or care about the production issues. They would be all about the story. So figuring the story out and your angle, number one, good audio, good video, and editing, that's kind of your hierarchy. All of them are important, but some are just more important than others. Okay, so let's get to the title. The title of your videos is probably the next most important thing after the story and your content. The title needs to be you talking to a real person. A few years ago, YouTube basically had bots, and they still have bots doing this, but the bots have gotten much smarter now, and you need to be talking like you'd be talking to a real person. Getting into the value a little bit in the title is now become important. How to walk down the aisle and not have a dry eye in the house is probably more important than bride walks down aisle, church, venue, where you're basically throwing out key terms for a bot. Now, we've always talked about making sure you're putting things in a conversational style on your title. It used to be then you would want to put as many of those words in a conversational style as you could in that 100 character. Because YouTube isn't putting as much into that with using that, they want to have a title that is compelling, is what they're looking for. And the bots have gotten pretty good at figuring this out. So the title has to be something that will fit your video and give you a compelling reason to watch the video, and give us just enough so that when we come to the point of getting into kind of a recommended video phase later, that there's enough there between these different elements that YouTube will say, yes, this is indeed related to that, and this would be something maybe this person would want to watch. So a compelling title definitely is a huge thing. After the title, the next thing is getting that thumbnail right. You need to have a compelling thumbnail, some thumbnail that it doesn't have to be the exact title. You don't have to have it be that, but that title has to be something that will catch my eye over on that suggested side of the screen, or when it pops up and it's like, hey, you can choose this or this next on the screen towards the end of whatever. It's got to be something that little image is eye-catching enough where it makes me say, oh, you know what? I want to click on that. That and the first few words of your title. Those two are going to work together and be the thing that I'm going to judge if I'm going to click on that to move forward and watch that video, or if I'm going to go do something else. So that has to be a compelling title in that first 4 or 5 words, and it has to be a thumbnail that works to catch that. So this is, again, an areas in which you're going to see us changing here as we go forward, because without these things in place, it's easy for people to just kind of skip on by and go to something else. So once I've figured out what those two things are, the next area is that description area. And this description area is still very important. It's probably in the hierarchy the third most important thing. That's why it's 1, 2, 3 in that, as far as title, your title, thumbnail, and now your description. The description is going to be more of that reason of why a person should have this. Now, in this area, one of the big changes, it used to be that we would go and we would have text for the first probably 6 or so lines. Then we would start to have some links and different things back and forth. YouTube gives points, we'll call it. It prefers people who are going out there and recommending links and such that keep people on YouTube. YouTube wants people to stay on YouTube. When does YouTube make money? They make money every time somebody watches a video at some point in time. They make hundredths of a penny off this little part of an ad and this little ad here and this. YouTube wants us to stay. So in order for us to really be able to kind of, here's where that gaming the system comes from, is that it used to be that I could go, okay, here's the title, in this show, I'm going to be talking about how to pin a bride's dress up using only gaff tape when she walks down the aisle and had this horrible accident, and I'm doing this prose of what's going to happen in the video. Great. Then I would say, and now for more information, go to DJJohnYoung.com and go to here. I would do that. Today, what works better is the prose up at the top is still good. Speaking like you would to someone, telling them what's going to happen, telling what the value is, because I'm going to want to use these keywords in those descriptive areas. What's changed, though, is these links that take you off. It's to the point where having links going to your website is probably not a cool thing anymore. So ideally, what you would want to do is, let's say that we were doing a venue for the local Holiday Inn, and there was another video I did for the Holiday Inn. I could actually go and put the link to the other video and say, hey, check out this one at the Holiday Inn, and it's another YouTube link. Check out this one at this, and it's a Radisson link. Check out this one, and it's the Embassy Suites link. But they're all staying on YouTube. Those probably your first 3 or 4 links, if they're a YouTube link, YouTube is going to give that some preference because you're trying to keep people on YouTube. And that's their job. And if you're helping them do their job, they're going to be excited and you're going to get a little bit of a nod. So linking to some of your other videos is going to be hugely important. Where do you put your personal link? Well, if people go to your actual the YouTube channel page, the front of your page, there's an about, and they can go out to that. Hopefully your website is very simple, like discjockeynews.com or something like that, so you can talk about that in the video. Hey, if you guys want to get more information, go out to discjockeynews.com. That's it. They can just type it in. They don't have to go and click a link in the area below. If your discjockeynews.com link hurts in the bottom, don't put it there. Put YouTube links to other videos in there in the top, and maybe put a couple of links in the bottom, but don't put the others. So make sure you're careful with those links. Description is very important. The last part of that title, thumbnail, description, and tag area, and this is one of the big changes. This is an area in which we used to talk about throwing all your keywords into the tag area. And there, of course, would be times where people would put other keywords in there that weren't even in the video. If you didn't know, YouTube can actually go in and for most of our videos, if we are speaking clearly enough, they can go and do a closed caption of our videos. If you didn't know this, just go and type or click on a closed caption. I think you can even do it right now in this video, and it will start to put words up that are trying to guess what I'm saying, especially if I mumble or if I don't speak clearly, or if I say, about, it's going to be something that will show weird. Because of that, it can pull text and it can pull keywords out. And if I have in the tags, I have Taylor Swift in there, and I have, hey, this video is about Taylor Swift. You should check it out in the description. And in the title, I have, hey, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. You need to come and watch my video. And in the video, it doesn't say anything about Taylor Swift. YouTube's system is now good enough where it can go and find and say, wait a second, this and this are not matching. And these are the types of things that's going to get you kind of degraded in the YouTube world. Getting back to tags. Tags used to be a spot where we could put words like that were keywords and such. Some of the YouTube people who do this on a regular basis, as far as they've got channels where they have hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, they are not seeing a difference if they're filling it full of tags or if they're leaving it pretty much empty. So most of them are recommending to use a couple of keywords, but not to get over so all bent out of shape. If I were going to be doing a venue, I would probably still put the city and the state and the venue name and a few things like that, probably 8 or 10 tags, and I'd call it good. And these are the tags that go down below. This isn't hashtag world. This is the tags down below. Hashtags actually in the title they're actually coming up and having more value. I didn't even think about, I could have jumped to this. That you guys have seen us use hashtag DJNTV. And if you go and we're watching one of the videos, you will see that hashtag glow. And that becomes a clickable link and such. And sometimes that will help you find things. So hashtags, different story, different time. And I'm not going to get into that much more than that. But those have value. Tags in the bottom of the video are pretty much dead. Okay, so let's move on to a little bit different area. There's this interesting thing that's going to be coming up here. I've got to get back over here so I can pull it up. There's a legal action that went on between YouTube and the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, and it's this COPA law. And basically what this is talking about child protection when it comes to doing targeted marketing or targeted advertising, tracking children and advertising and serving them ads, personalized ads, what have you. On YouTube, if you're under 13, you're not supposed to be on YouTube. So young kids are getting onto YouTube because situations like when we're on, the kids say, hey, can I play on your phone? Well, you know what? It's that or they're going to scream in the back of the car and I'd rather just toss my phone. And next thing you know, they're on YouTube and they're doing their thing. Well, what's happened is you've got kids who are on YouTube and they're doing their thing and they're playing, and then there's these ads are popping up. And then, of course, if it's my phone and it's my account, they're probably seeing ads that are being personalized for me. Well, that's not such a big thing if I'm watching the Disc Jockey News channel. My kids aren't watching this channel. Or if I'm watching How to Paint a Fence channel or my Handyman or my Weekend Sportsman channel, my kids aren't watching those. So if there's more adult-themed, how to buy insurance, hey, is this not working for you? You need to make $1 million. Those types of ads are all over on YouTube. We've seen those. And those are something that are targeted towards us. But there are YouTube channels out there that are really geared towards children. And of course, those particular channels is where they're having issues with. There's a YouTube toy one as an example. These toy channels are huge. And if they do it right and they start and they do these toy reviews, they can get hundreds of thousands of subscribers very, very quickly and can be making big money. And these channels are geared specifically towards the kids. These kids, of course, are either using mom and dad's account or they've got a fake account that they put, somebody's helped them get together. Well, the commercial-free child, let me pull this up here. The commercial-free childhood.org committee is wanting to stop the ability for companies to go and advertise to these kids or places that kids would go and see. They want to have it basically that if I have a channel that is catering towards kids, that channel cannot run ads. It cannot run personalized ads that are keeping track of who's there, what their likes are, and different things like that. So basically that the kids, if they are there, aren't seeing things that they shouldn't be seeing. Because there are many channels out there that are targeting kids, and yet they are serving up ads that the kids shouldn't be seeing. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have gone out there and you went to a wrestling YouTube channel, and the next thing you know, there's a wrestling game and it's showing these people flying off there, or there's a car, one of the car, blow them up, shoot them up, what have you. Those types of games will happen after you've been to websites that or watching videos on YouTube that serve that type of content. That's what they're trying to stop. So what they're doing, hang on, I'll get back to that one, Howie. I'm sorry, it caught my eye. I'll get back to that question. So what they're trying to do is they're establishing some rules on which they can identify websites that shouldn't be allowing ads. And what's going to happen is that those websites are going to have to basically go through and say, yes, our content is not aimed at children, or no, it's not aimed at children, or yes, it is aimed at children. If it is aimed at children, they're not going to be able to monetize it, and that's going to become, or they're going to be doing more of a general monetizing similar to what television shows do, where it's not targeted, and the dollar per 1,000 views drops exponentially, just about down to nothing. So for content creators who are creating content out there, that are the ones that are really running into it are the ones who are doing family channels. They do a family channel. It's the mom and dad and their 3 or 4 or 10 kids, whatever it is, and they're going through life as a family. A lot of those pages have kids watching as well as adults. Are they aimed at adults, or are they aimed at kids? Well, if YouTube can go look and say, well, I can see that there's a lot of kids who are watching this, you're probably more of a kids channel, because there's also this thing called YouTube Kids, and some of these channels are also piped over there because they think that kids will watch, and then kids do. So a family channel has a lot of kids watching. They would have to then say, yes, we're a kid channel because we're in essence being seen by kids. They would lose their monetization, and for a lot of these families, YouTube money is what they live off from. This is how they survive. Let's just say they wanted to continue the personalized ads and such, and they said, nope, we're not aiming towards kids. There's that criteria that YouTube is going to be using. They don't really know exactly what it is. They haven't defined it completely, but there are a few tests. If you're using animation, you're probably a kids channel. If you're using music, this is a tough one. You're probably a kids channel. If you have children in your video as kind of the stars of the show, you're probably a kids channel. And if you are found to be a kids channel, but yet you're not identifying properly that you're a kids channel, there are some severe fines of like $42,000 per video that they're going to be levying against those channels. Why is this important to us as DJs? Is because there's that one part in there that talked about, are there kids in your videos, and is there music in your videos? Well, a lot of the times when we're doing dances and such, there are people out there who are listening to the cha-cha slide music, and there might be young people on the floor, children in our videos. Those could be construed as potential that my channel is catering towards children. Not only would we not be able to have ads, which most DJs, that doesn't make a big deal, but in the suggested videos on the side, a lot of our target audience, i.e. brides and older people, may not see these because they're assuming because we have music and we have this, that we're a kids aiming towards children, and they're not going to show our videos and such as a suggested video for other people who are looking with that. So there's going to be more coming down the line. Right now, there's a hearing. The FTC is having a hearing. I believe it's the end of the month. And this is kind of their fact-finding time. So people are writing in right now to go and sign a petition that, hey, when it comes to YouTube videos, parents are the ones who are giving the kids the phone, letting them watch what they want to watch. Parents need to basically manage their own kids better. If they don't want them to be watching channels they shouldn't be watching, make sure they're not watching the channels, parents. If you need to take your phone away, whatever, but basically parents, be parents and take care of your kids. Whereas the other side is that parents are too busy to be able to watch everything that kids do, so they have these rules in place, and then it becomes tough because many content creators are worried that revenue that they're making, whether it's $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month, will be gone once this kicks in January 1st. So, okay, that'll give you a little bit there. Howie, so what I would do in yes, I would probably have a few YouTube links in the description pointing to some of your other videos that maybe, and it might even be one of these things that you've got this little thing, this block of copy and paste. Hey, go to this video and see, Howie Darkstar doing an introduction of a wedding party. Hey, go to this video and see Howie Darkstar, going and rewiring my whole house in an afternoon. Go to this video where you would have this little thing of itinerary of places you could send them, and you could always paste that into your video. So you'd have your first little description. You'd have this block that you'd always post into your videos, which sends them back and forth to your YouTube videos. And then at the bottom, you could maybe have that link, and it wouldn't be penalized because they like those first links going back and forth to YouTube. That would be the easy an easy way to probably be your best way short of not having your website there at all. Okay, so let's talk about traffic. The biggest drivers in traffic to videos. This is something that they've been researching a lot. And the place that most people are finding traffic, or the traffic driven to their videos, yes, there are some from social media, Twitter, Facebook. There's some that come that way. Some people send a little bit from their websites. Most of the traffic that people see, over half of the traffic, generally is coming because of subscribers, or it's because of the suggested videos that are showing up on the side or at the bottom, or whatever, the suggested videos that YouTube does. Now the question is search dead when it comes to this? And there is some traffic. Some traffic comes from search, but not as much. That similar content is really the big thing. And what do I mean by that? Is that when Prince passed a few years back, we ended up doing a few shows with Prince, talking about Prince. And right away that night, we did a video where we went and we had a thumbnail of Prince, and we did this show. And I don't remember if Brian and I did this or Mike Walter and whoever. It's been a long time. But that particular video, in essence, went viral for us. And the reason why is because it had enough information there, and it had enough information in the video that Google understood that every time people were watching a Prince video, in that suggested on the side, it was there. And I went and actually looked at the stats on that, because you can go back and look at stats on videos. And of that, 95% of it was from suggested places. It was incredibly high on that one. That's where we're getting it. So let's say I've done a video at the Holiday Inn in St. Paul, Minnesota. Then if somebody was watching they did a search and they were looking for a wedding reception hall, St. Paul, Minnesota, and they're watching a Radisson video from St. Paul, Minnesota, there's a very good chance that if my video has made YouTube happy, that it could be suggested, because YouTube would look at that and say, well, they're interested in venues in St. Paul, Minnesota. The Holiday Inn is a venue in St. Paul, Minnesota. So there's a good chance that this is a good video that they might go to watch and stay on YouTube. There's the thing. Now the question becomes is we want to be there. We want to have that similar content. We really want YouTube to be recommending our videos to people as the next video to watch. And what do we need to do that? Becomes the huge question. Well, we get back to having a quality title that's compelling, having a thumbnail that's compelling, and a description that's accurate to our video. Those things put together with quality content is going to give us hopefully views that give us retention. Video retention and watch time are really probably the final parts of the puzzle that YouTube looks at. They want people to watch the video, to basically, you get people there and you retain them. And they want those people to be retained for a long period of time of your video. The magic number is if you can get 50% of your crowd to stay with you to the end of your video, there's this magical place in YouTube land where they will recommend the bejesus out of your videos. That 50% is really big, and not many people, if any, well, there's some, very few people can hit that number. That's a magic number. If I can have most of the people, or 50% of the people who come to my website watch the whole thing, great. Watch time is a little bit different. Basically, 50% of the people to the end, that I'm retaining 50% of the people to the end. Now, watch time might be, let's say it's a 10-minute video. My average watch time might be 7 minutes. Well, that means that some people watched it all the way to the end to get the 10, and there might be people who watched it for 1 minute and 5 minutes. That's the average is the watch time when you divide the number of videos by that. And the watch time is they'll have that total number, and they like to see big numbers with that because there's sometimes where they'll have a video, it's a 20-minute video, and then they have a commercial at the front, and sometimes YouTube is dropping commercials in the middle of them. There have been many of our videos where I haven't put a commercial in the middle, and I'm looking at it, it's like, there are 3 commercials in this one, and I didn't put any of them in. They will do that. So if they know that your videos have good retention and they will have watch time, YouTube absolutely loves that. That is one of the big ways to get them excited about staying on that, getting them to recommend your video as you're going forward. Because ultimately, YouTube wants to keep them there, keep them clicking on more videos and not sending them off. If you can do that, really, that's the important part. You're trying to help YouTube make money. That's what we as creators are doing, and even as people who are utilizing the system. And it becomes, if we're trying to find ways to make money, how does YouTube make money? By keeping people on the platform. If we can help them, keep them on a platform, and we can send them to places we want them to go, or we can put ourselves in a position that they can come to us or find us because of that, yay, then we do, and we are good. Another area for having success in this, and YouTube also looks at this, is engagement. Engagement could include people clicking like. If you guys click the like on this video, the thumbs up, yay. People subscribing to your channel. They watch the first time they watched your video and they like the video and they subscribe to your channel. Comments in the live is great, but comments after the video is up, if it's one we've uploaded, and getting those comments down below is hugely important. Another side of it is in that engagement thing is on us. We need to be doing more of commenting and thanking you guys for going out and putting comments, because some of you are incredibly good at this. You come in and say, hey, and here's a thought, and I read pretty much every comment that goes up, but I don't engage it, and I've got to start doing that, and I've got to go over and say, Jimmy, really, you don't like Huey Lewis? That's what I'm going to have to say in a lot of videos. But I need to be engaging that way into the as we're going through and such. So again, tonight I'm talking about things that we've done pretty well and some things we don't do well, and we have to learn in this process also. Engagement is good. An interesting thing, it used to be the thumbs down was just viewed as an engagement and it didn't matter as much. Now YouTube is getting to the point where they want to differentiate between positive comments and positive reactions compared to negative reactions. So yes, the thumbs down does carry a little bit more weight, but if you have a channel that has 99% positive and only, like you've got the haters, YouTube understands that there's haters out there, and if you don't get to a level of thumbs down, you're not getting docked or slapped around by that. But if you only get 1 thumbs up and you get 2 thumbs down on every video because you got 2 people that hate you, only 1 person that likes you, that is going to overall cause you problems, because YouTube's going to look at the, wow, twice as many people hate this channel as like this channel. So thumbs down does start to hurt nowadays. So if we know who is giving us thumbs down on our shows, we will be sending someone to come over and talk to you. It will happen. So the final part of the video is that YouTube still has some things on there where at the end of the video you can say, hey, click there to go and check this out. Or in the video you can say, hey, click on this little thing. This is a great spot to put your website up, as you can say, hey, you want to go to my website, go to discjockeynews.com, or click right, there's more space here, click right there type of thing. And then you can have it where there's a graphic that pops up. Obviously this can't be done live that well. It can't be done at all live, but you could have that little box that popped up and says click here for website, and you can go and put that in there as a link for your website. That particular method is not docked. It's actually encouraged because it will give it'll get more of that engagement, but it takes them off YouTube. But it also, if you're on your cell phone, it usually minimizes that, and you stay in the YouTube app sometimes, and it goes there. There's some little tweaks and nuances about that YouTube is trying to work on so that they can have it so you don't leave. Kind of like Facebook, you go into Messenger and you click a link and it'll open up a YouTube video and it's playing, but it's in Messenger, but it looks like YouTube, but it's in Messenger. So when you go back, you're back in Messenger, and then you go to your start up your YouTube app, and it wasn't, but I thought the video was playing, and no, it's failing in Messenger. So these companies are trying to figure ways to keep you on their system, but yet give you the ability to go off and do things like that to the website. So I would definitely recommend, if you want to do some things like that, in production of the video, don't be afraid to look into that and say, hey, you guys want to check out the website? I've got this really cool thing out there. I'll put the link right here, and then it pops up, and then they can go click on it if they want to. Make sure that the URL, if it's an easy one to do, is spelled out there, because they may look at it and say, oh yeah, I'll type that in later. It can happen. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they just will never pay attention and don't really care. So that's pretty much it. Just to give you some ideas on YouTube. Thank you guys for being with tonight and the chat. You guys are a good crew here tonight. Jeremy Breck will be back. We'll figure out when he's going to be back in town. He's a very, very busy man. We'll get back with Jeremy tomorrow. We've got we have 3 shows actually tomorrow night. I've got an 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. First one, we're going to talk about some wedding training. A gentleman, Josh, is going to be coming in and talking about some wedding training. Then we have Ben Stowe and I are going to be talking about selecting gear and what are some criteria for selecting gear. And then Brian and I are going to talk about something, and I'm sure it's going to be the most intriguing, incredible video we've ever done. I just have this feeling it's going to be the most incredible video we've ever done, but I can't remember the topic. So we'll do that. We'll figure that out later. So once again, thank you guys for being with, and have yourself a wonderful evening, and we will catch you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.